Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are welcome to week number 6 on our facilitation of ISL 101 General Introduction to Islam. So today we'll be looking at Islam and science. Islam and science, and what are the contributions of Islam to the development of science. So this will be the content of our discussion today. Welcome. My name is Professor Mustafa Adejora.
Yes. Okay. Let's quickly go. This is our intended learning outcome for today. At the end of today's lesson, you should be able to define the word science and Islam. Then you highlight on the rapport between Islam and science. Also, you should be able to identify and assess the unique contributions of the early Muslims to science. Then, finally, you should be able to explain the scientific achievements of various scholars in Islam. Definition of the word Islam and science. Let's look at the concept of Islam and science. No, we have defined Islam severally as a religion of peace from the word salam. Then, let's look at the word science now. Science is known as ulum in Arabic, ulum, and is from another word from Latin, from another Latin word, which is scientia, and it means knowledge or to know. That is the origin of the word science, from Latin word scientia. It implies that science generally conveys knowledge. So when you talk of science, it means knowledge, and specifically it refers to knowledge of nature, natural knowledge. So it involves a pursuit of knowledge which covering general truths or the operation of fundamental laws. It has been defined as any branch of study which is related to observation and classification of facts. So it is factual. When you talk of science, is knowledge based on facts. So science is a body of knowledge obtained or acquired through systemic observation and experiment, which allows us to deduce laws and principles. So it's not just something you can just come by. You have to experiment as a result of systemic observation. You have to bring out your result based on facts. Then the relationship between Islam and science. So there is no relationship existing between the two terms except what the Quran says about them. It is the Quran that talks about the relationship between Islam and science. It is what the Quran tells us about Islam, the relationship that we know. So Islam emphasizes science or knowledge. So Islam does not go against science. That is it, because science means knowledge. And if you remember, we have several passages of the Quran that talks about seeking for knowledge. For instance, the first Quranic verse that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, that is Quran chapter, is it 86, verses 1 to 5 or 6, which talks about knowledge. Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa al insana min alaq ikra wa rabbuka al akram alladhi allama bil qalam allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. So the content of that passage is that we should seek for knowledge. You should read in the name of your Lord who creates. So it's telling us about knowledge, about reading, about making experiment, seeking for truth. So that is the first Quranic revelation ever revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Then other Quranic passages include Quran chapter 39 verse 10, which reads, "Are those who know equal to those who know not?" Allah is asking, can you compare those who know with those who do not know? So that shows how important knowledge is. So let's look at the contributions of early Muslims to science. So we have a man called Al-Haris ibn Kalada. He's from Taif. Taif is a town very close to Mecca. So the man is from Taif. He was the first scientifically trained man in the Arabian Peninsula. Throughout the Arabian Peninsula, he was the first Arab that was trained, you see, scientifically. He was otherwise known as Doctor of the Arabs. That's another appellation for him, Doctor of the Arabs. So that is Al-Haris ibn Kalada. He's from Taif. So Abu Ubaidah is a Muslim geographer who lived in the 10th century, and he was among the early Muslim geographers who popularized the Indian belief that the world had 4 cardinal points of equidistance, that is north, south, east, and west, so of equal distance. So he brought that one during the 10th century, and he was a Muslim. So during the reign of Ma'mun of Abbasid period, during the Abbasid period, so when Mahmud, the Khalifa Mahmud, was in power, there was a man called Abu Yusuf Ayaku al-Kindi, popularly known as al-Kindi. He was otherwise known as a Muslim philosopher. So he was a popular Muslim philosopher during that time. So he was known as philosopher of the Arabs. That is another appellation for him, philosopher of the Arabs, because he was so deep in philosophy. So some chemicals such as sulfuric acid, nitric acid, potassium, ammonia, salt, alcohol preparation, and other things, some other acids like that were discovered by so many other Muslim scholars. So Islam and science, they have been so familiar with one another, because we have so many Muslim scholars who developed so many scientific discoveries, so who made so many discoveries in Islam. So that's why he's talking about that. So let's move on. The development of arts and sciences, what are the contributions of Muslims to this? So Muslim, during the between the 9th and 13th century, Muslims were acknowledged as the world leaders in the development of arts and sciences. Among the arts, poetry, calligraphy, and architecture were highly prized, while mosques and other buildings remained the Islamic ideas and ideas of beauty. That is, during that time, we have so many mosques that were so designed. Then you see calligraphic writings to decorate the mosques. We have so many architectural designs that were made by the Muslims to build the mosques. So Muslims are also good in philosophy, as philosophy and science sprang to life again as the Muslim scholars translated, commented on, and developed almost every field of study. When you talk of mathematics, you find the Muslims there. When you talk of chemistry, physics, not these days, so in the olden days, during the early stage of Islam, you have so many Muslims who excelled in different fields: philosophy, physics, botany, zoology, astronomy, geography, medicine, and so on and so forth. So in mathematics, the Arabs adopted the concept of zero. It was the Arabs that developed the concept of zero, which they use in mathematics today. So when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so there was nothing next to it. So to increase the figures, so they developed zero. That's why they add 0 to 1 to become 10. They add 0 to 2 to become 20, and so on and so forth. So medicine, one of the most progressive physicians of Islam was Muhammad ibn Zakaria al-Razi. If you Google for Razi or Razis, you see the story there and the history. Then and his contribution to science. Then among Razi's innovations was the use of cold water to treat persistent fever or dry coughing for apoplexy. He developed so many things. So in medicine, he authored about 200 treatises and books which we're studying today. Some of these books form the basis for the present day development in the art of and in medicine. The Muslims also used anesthetic to perform surgery, though these are assumed to be a modern origin. People look at this injection that we give now as a modern discovery, modern development. No, it has started during the early stage of Islam, when Muslim scholars developed those things. So the greatest of Islamic surgeons was Abul Qasim of Andalusia. So Abul Qasim, he was popularly known as Abul Qais. So he was from Andalus. So he invented many surgical instruments and authored so many scientific books, medical books. So today, in summary, we have defined the word science and Islam, and we have looked into the relationship between Islam and science. We also identified some unique contributions of the early Muslim scholars and scientists to the art of science. And also, finally, we also explained the scientific achievements of various scholars in Islam. So that will be what we have for today. Next week, which will be the final week, we'll continue. Thank you, and God bless you.